Hello and welcome to another episode. I am Brian, the Unskilled Commander, and we're back on our bullshit. This is just the way it used to be. 4 commander decks, brand new, testing them out, and I am playing all of them. Now, I'm not going to do this every week like I used to, simply because it was getting too much with the decks were too repetitious. You were seeing the same decks over and over again too many times. However, I will do this every time I have a set of 4 brand new decks that you haven't seen before, such as these. Hopefully the audio and video look and sound good. I hope you enjoy it. Let's go. We've got, as we've done before, we've skipped the first 4 turns just so that you don't have to play land passes a bunch. So we're going to talk about what cards were played as we get to them. We are now starting turn 5 here with Baator, Kin to All. For this one, we just played lands, and we had Garruk's Uprising played. It didn't actually trigger because we didn't have any creatures out, especially nothing with 4 power or greater. But creatures will have trample, and if I play a creature with power 4 or greater onto the battlefield under my control, I draw a card. So we will draw for turn, play a beautiful Promenade. I do have more opponents, so it comes in untapped. And we're going to tap for, you know what? What we're going to do is we're going to tap 2 and sack the Crozian Verge to get a Forest and a Plains card, put them onto the battlefield tapped. So what we're going to do with that is we're going to go look for the Triome. All right, we grabbed a Indatha Triome and a Radiant Grove. Now we have 2 lands left. There's nothing we can do with 2 lands. We're going to be wide open, but that's all right. Baator is a really fun deck to play, and it's done decent. All these tested well on Moxfield. Of course, that's with no opponents and no interaction, but most of them, except for that one over there, which we'll get to in a second, have been played against people, and they've done pretty decent. So we're going to go ahead and pass turn. Thank you all very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You know, all that normal garbage, but go check out my other socials as well and give me follows across them so you know when I post new content and when I go live on Twitch for charity streams. So over here on Vorash the Hunter, we have Vorash out. He is a 6/6 flying commander. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you may pay 3. If you do, put 6 +1/+1 counters on him. It's not what the deck is built around. It's my Oops All Flyers deck, so every creature is a flyer. Because most people really don't deal with flying. They have very little in their deck and they don't have reach. So I thought it would just be fun to see how well a deck that's nothing but flying creatures can do. Of course, Vorash is a really decent commander if you can start pumping him up and get through, so that's in there as well. We're going to untap over here. We also have an Arcane Signet out. I will play a snow-covered land for turn, and then we're going to go ahead and play a card that's going to screw over Baator huge and basically turn the deck off, unfortunately. 2 black and 3 others to play Maha the Feathered Knight. It's a 6/5 flying trample with ward, discard a card, and creatures your opponents control have base toughness 1. Baator is all about the toughness in order to do any of its abilities, so unless they have removal and can get rid of that Maha creature, they're screwed. They're out of this game already. Which is kind of sad because Baator is a fantastic deck. It's not hard to build, obviously. You just go for creatures that have big toughness to get the activations, but still, I enjoy playing it, and I'm pleased with how well it's done, considering I didn't really try and break it or go too crazy with like optimizing it. We have 2 mana left. There's nothing I can do, but I do have a flyer, and no one else has flying. So we might as well start swinging. We are effectively cutting you off, so I'm not going to be a jerk and attack you. I'm going to go ahead and attack the energy deck, because energy can do pretty good. That's a Slivers deck, monocolored, so there could be a threat soon, but we'll see. So you are going to take 6 commander damage. I do not have enough to pay for the trigger, so I can't put any counters on there. And I hope you notice that I've got these cool 3-row life counters, so they should be much easier to see on actual feed. So that's all we can do. We pass turn. We untap over here. We upkeep. Over here is my Saheeli energy deck. We have Saheeli Radiant Creator out. She is a 4/4 that says whenever you cast an Artificer or Artifact card, you get 1 energy. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 energy. When you do, create a token that's a copy of target permanent, not just a creature, a permanent, except it's a 5/5 artifact creature in addition to its other types, and it has haste. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. We also have Stone Idol Generator out, which is an artifact where we got our 1 energy. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you get energy. Tap it to pay 6 and make a 6/12 colorless construct artifact creature token with trample. Activate only as a sorcery. Draw for turn. Going to go ahead and tap 4 mana to play Glimmer of Genius. Scry 2, then draw 2 cards, and I get 2 energies, up to 3 energy. I will leave those there, then draw those 2 cards. I actually will not play a land. Sorry. Yep, now that's all I can do. I could attack, but then I'd be wide open, even though I'm wide open against the flyer. I'm not open against them just yet. So, and there's no point in copying Saheeli because that wouldn't give me any benefit with the ability, so we're going to pass. Over here, we're going to untap, upkeep, and draw. We have mono green Slivers. We were able to get the commander, Nylea Keen-Eyed, out, a 5/6 indestructible, but it is not a creature yet, because the devotion to green is too low. However, it says creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, and you can pay 3 to reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature, put it in your hand, otherwise you may put it into your graveyard. We also got Emerald Medallion out, which makes green spells cost 1 less to cast, and Maskwood Nexus, so now all creatures are all types, meaning anything I play will be a sliver. I'm going to tap 1 green mana to play Manawef Sliver. It's a 1/1 that says slivers have tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. I will tap 2 green because creatures cost 1 less and green spells cost 1 less to make Beast Whisperer, and I should have done that in the other order, I guess, but whatever. Live and don't learn. Whenever you cast a creature spell, you draw a card. He is a 2/3. Unfortunately, there's nothing else I can do right now, and Nylea is still not a creature just yet. So we will go ahead and pass turn. We untap over here on turn 6. Draw for turn. Going to play a swamp. Tapping 2 to play Up the Beanstalk. Enchantment says when it enters the battlefield and whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, draw a card. So I will draw. Then we're going to tap for a white, a green, a black, and 2 others to play our commander, Baitor, Kin to All. A flying 5/7. At the beginning of your end step, if creatures you control have total toughness 10 or greater, draw a card. Then if they have total toughness 20 or greater, untap all of your creatures. And then if you have total toughness 40 or greater, each opponent loses half their life, rounded up. Unfortunately, thanks to Maha over there, instead of being a 5/7, he is now a 5/1. However, it is a 5 mana value, so we are going to draw a card off of Up the Beanstalk, and its power is 4 or greater, so we will draw off of Garruk's Uprising. Regrettably, we don't have a Reliquary Tower out, so I'm going to have to discard something. I will discard a Forest, and then pass turn. Alright, untap. Upkeep, draw for turn. Dreamroot Cascade comes in tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. I do. Oh, this is going to get real gross. This might be a quick game. We're going to tap 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 to play the artifact Elbrus the Binding Blade. Equipment, and its equipped creature gets +1/+0. When the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, unattach Elbrus and then transform it. It's an equip for 1. Hey, I'm going to go ahead and equip it to my commander. You know what? When you got commander damage, you might as well focus it. So we're going to move to combat. Swing it over at you again. So we will do this. So now it is a 7/6. That means you have 13 commander damage already. Once again, I don't have the mana open to do his ability, but that's fine. However, the important part is it connected, which means we unequip the blade, transforming it into Withengard Unbound, a 13/13 flying Intimidate Trample. When a player loses the game, put 13 +1/+1 counters on Unbound. Gross, hilarious, and oh my gosh. That's all I can do here. We're going to pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. It's another island. I will play it. No, I will not, because that's not what we're supposed to do. I'm going to tap for green and 3 others to play Nissa, World Soul Speaker, a 3/3 that has landfall, which is why I was waiting. Whenever a land enters, you get 2 energy, and you may pay 8 energy rather than pay the mana cost of permanent spells you cast. Now I'm actually going to play a mountain instead of the island because I have plenty of islands anyway. I will get 2 more mana. There's really no point in attacking. Not even sure how much longer it's going to last, especially with that 1 more hit from our commander, and we're out of the game. So we're going to pass turn. I'm really impressed with how fast Flyers is taking on this. Obviously, even without Maha out, Baitor is going kind of slow, and that is the downfall of that particular deck. Being a 3 colors, the mana base is a little slower because I have a lot of lands that come in tapped. You can try and speed that up with different kinds of lands that hurt you when they come in, so they come in untapped, all that junk, but I don't, it's the casual deck. It doesn't really do that. But we're back over here. Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Play a forest for turn. Tapping 2 to play the enchantment creature Enduring Vitality, a 3/3 with vigilance. Creatures you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. When it dies, you can return it to the battlefield under its owner's control as an enchantment. I played a creature spell, so I draw a card. I'm going to tap 1 mana for Spinneret Sliver, a 2/2. All slivers have reach. That's pretty good against the Flyers. I'm going to draw a card. Tapping 2 to play Root Sliver. Can't be countered, and Sliver spells can't be countered. Thanks to Maskwood Nexus, all creatures that are not even on the battlefield yet, but just in my hand or deck, are all types. So that means all of my creature spells are now slivers, whether they're on the battlefield or not, which means all of my sliver spells can't be countered. I can tap these creatures for mana, however, they still have Summoning Sickness, so these two I cannot. But Nylea is in fact a creature now, so I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to play. Well, first of all, I should draw off the Root Sliver, and then play Brood Sliver, a 3/3 that whenever slivers deal combat damage to a player, its controller may create a 1/1 colorless sliver creature token, and I will draw a card for that. So the sliver deck is doing great in terms of getting creatures out and having a bit of a board state. They're just not very big, but I do have a Craterhoof Behemoth in my hand, so that next turn, maybe. Yes, I have one land in hand, and with Emerald Medallion out, I could play that next turn. So the slivers might be able to take out Borosh over there and sneak out a win, because most likely they're going to take out energy because they can just simply swing their flyer over there. No problems. Now we have reach and they have a flyer. But with that 13/13 and trample, you're going to go swinging. And all creatures have, all opponents' creatures have toughness of 1, not just them. So the trample will get through very nicely. We'll have to see. Pass turn. Untap over here. Upkeep. Draw for turn. We're going to Canopy Vista. I do not control any. I only have one basic, so it does come in tapped. Now, do I have anything? I don't have any removal in my hand right now, unfortunately. But this could still help. So 1, 2, just enough. It's not going to do it, but we'll play. Tapping 7 mana to play Canopy Gargantuan. A 7/7 flying Ward 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a number of +1/+1 counters on each other creature you control equal to that creature's toughness. That's not even going to help because thanks to Maha, they'll all get +1/+1 instead of their real toughnesses. So yeah, we are just out of the game. We do get to draw a card off of Up the Beanstalk and one off of Garruk's Uprising. I still have to discard a card so we can get rid of Guardian Project because we got plenty of card draw going right now, which is great. That's really important. It's just not going to save us. There's a little removal in this deck, probably not a ton because the synergy of the deck itself normally goes, because as you can see, these 2 cards alone are going to do really well, and plus the card draw is helping me get the lands out, so next time I can play some better spells, but it's just not going to be fast enough or cut it without the removal. Pass turn. So we come over here, we untap, upkeep, draw. Play the Snow-Covered Island for turn. 1, 2, 3 to play, oops, nope, gotta be 2 black. The 1, 2, 3 to play Vampire Nighthawk. It's a 2/3 flying Death Touch lifelink. And why not, we'll tap all 6 to play Thopter Assembly. A 5/5 flying at the beginning of your upkeep. If you control no Thopters other than Thopter Assembly, bounce it to your hand and make 6 1/1 flying Thopters. Basically, I have a couple buff spells in here that are static, like all flying creatures get +1/+1 or whatever. So that way, something like that, they'd be 2/2s or 3/3s, and you'd have a lot of them. So obviously, we're going to combat. We're going to swing Vorash at you for the finish. Actually, it won't be, because it's only 6, and that will put you at 19, so you still are alive. And we will send the 13/13 at you, because you have 7. Your power and toughness over there is 12. Well, your power is 12, so you cannot kill it, and 11 damage is going to get through. Okay, that was a pretty solid hit. It didn't quite do enough damage. I thought it was going to take out one person, but because then that would put a bunch of counters on the Unbound, and then we'd be really crazy. But still really impressive. Both of these would die if they blocked. So honestly, why would you block, right? So they take the full 13 and leave their attackers up so that they can actually do something. Pass turn. Now, if everyone gangs up on them, the table might be able to take out the flyers. We're going to untap, upkeep, draw. Play an island for turn. I gain 2 energy. I will tap 3 for an Phyrexian Ironworks. It's an artifact, so I get an energy. When you attack, you get an energy, and you can tap it to pay 3 energy, make a 3/3 colorless Phyrexian Golem. Then I will tap 3 blue and play Midnight Clock. It's another artifact, so I gain energy. It's just taps for blue, but then it gets a time counter on it at each upkeep, and when the 12th hour counter is put onto it, you shuffle your hand and graveyard into your library, then draw 7 cards and exile the artifact. In the off chance it can work, we're going to tap this, paying 3 energy down to 6 to make a 3/3 golem. We could move to combat and copy the golem. It would be a 5/5 with haste, which is really nice. Because if you even something as small as a 1/1 token, if you copy it, it becomes a 5, not becomes, but the new token is a 5/5 artifact creature, copy of that token with haste. So that's really cool. And I'm not exactly, and I'd only lose 1 energy. So let's do that. Let's move to combat, use 3 energy down to 3 to make a copy of the token, which will be a 5/5 with haste. We will swing that over at you. When I attack, I get 2 energy based off of these 2, back up to 5, almost netting 0. Now, do you want to actually... Using the Death Toucher would be useless because it's going to be sacrificed at the next end step anyway. We don't want to do that. We definitely don't want to lose Maha, so we'll just take the 5. We then pass turn. Now, this is where things get interesting. Untap, upkeep, draw, play the forest we just drew, even though we had one in our hand anyway, so it's fine. So as I said, we have a Crater Hoof. Cool extra life one. We have enough mana because of the reduction. We actually have an extra mana because it's creatures and green are 2, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we need 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh gosh, I miscalculated, so thankfully I had that extra reduction I didn't realize. So the point being, we would play Crater Hoof. Crater Hoof is a 5/5 with haste that says when it enters, creatures you control gain trample and +X until end of turn, where X is the number of creatures you control. I have 8 creatures, so all of my creatures would get +8/+8. So that's a minimum of 64 damage plus half. So 64, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, like 87. Blockers, however, all the creatures' toughness... Oh, that's right. So all of my opponent's toughness... These 2, essentially, from my perspective, have toughness 1. The point is, I would have base 8/8s, whereas my other opponents, except for them, would have toughness of 1. So a lot of the damage would get through. But of course, we do need to focus on them. And we would lose probably some creatures. Well, we would definitely lose a couple creatures. Because stack blocking across the board here could take out a few things. And I would draw a card if I played that. And they are also the highest life. So 5, 10, 11, 12, 13 is their toughness. So Nylea is indestructible, so we definitely want to send that their way. So basically, they would have to stack block Nylea to stop this one completely. Then if we sent this one and this one, that's 22 damage getting through, and then +5, +8, 35 exactly. So the question then becomes, who else is a threat? Okay, the good news is when they connect, we get to make a 1/1 colorless sliver for each one that connects. And with the trample, they should all theoretically connect. So we would have blockers. So basically the next person you want to go for is them because they got the flyers and their powers are already good. And once we take them out, Baitor's ability comes back online and they can start doing some shenanigans. So we would want to send these 2, which are essentially, well, we'll just do it this way. These 2 are 10/10s. So we actually 10/30 with 1. Yeah, so we would have to send these 3 at them and then this one little 9/9 at you. I believe that's what we're going to do. We're going to tap everything. We're going to go ahead and play the Crater Hoof. We draw a card off of the thing. Nobody has any counter spells. All right, let me check. Nope. They have an Aetherize, but they don't have the mana open for it. So we move to combat. We do the swinging, just as we said. The biggest creature we have is Nylea, closely followed by the Crater Hoof, of course, but Nylea is a 5/6 and Crater Hoof is a 5/5. So it's a 13/14 and a 13/13. As I said, 5, 11, 12, 13 power and a little bit higher on the defense. No, actually, because this is a 6/5, so it's actually, and this is a 2/3. It balances out that they have 13 power, 13 toughness to block with. I guess the smart thing would be to block the Crater Hoof so that it would die. Served its purpose. However, the rest gets through. And we said that these are 3/3s, which are 8. So these are 22, 32, 33, 34, 35. Yep, exactly 35 damage. Kaboosh, you are done. Down here, now combat damage happens simultaneously, so the power and toughnesses don't change based off of Maha getting killed just yet. Over here, we've got 10, 20, 30 damage. Your toughnesses is only 2. You will eat up, meaning 28 damage goes through. You are dead. However, you do have a 7 and a 5. You would need to stack block something. Stack block the Beast Whisperer, so stop the card draw. And then over here, you've got a 9/9 coming at you. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. you could stack block and destroy it. Would that really be all that important? Definitely blocking with the little 3/3, but I don't think we're going to do much else because it's 9, so you would take 6. So these would both get destroyed as well. So whenever a sliver deals combat damage to a player, its controller may create a 1/1 colorless sliver. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Technically, no. We'll just say 5 got through. So that's 5 1/1s. All right, nice. Past turn, I was not expecting the mono green slivers to possibly take the win, especially with the way the Flyers went crazy off the bat. So over here, we untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Now, because they both died, we only have 2 counters on the midnight clock. This is the second upkeep that's happened since we played it. Now we just drew a counterspell, a little late. Yeah, not much we can do. We have cards, but they're just not helpful. We'll keep 4 mana up for the Aetherize we do have. Didn't even get a land. So I will tap 3. I'll tap 3 to tap and put a counter on the clock. Move to the beginning of combat, use 3 energy down to 2 to make a token copy of Nissa, which would be a 5/5 with trample and haste. We swing that over at you, you're still at 40 life. You're just going to take the 5. At the end of combat, this goes away. We would have gotten 2 more energies from attacking, so we're up to 4, and then we pass turn. Untap over here, upkeep, draw. Play a forest for turn. So they are down to 17 life. As it stands, we have 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 damage online if we simply swung with that. I'm going to tap 1 to play Quick Sliver. It's got flash. Any player may play a sliver as if it had flash. Does have summoning sickness, of course. Well, regrettably, here's the thing. I don't know they have an Aetherize in hand. So I'm going to play this, and it would be awesome, but it's not going to work. So green spells cost 1 less. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to play the sorcery. Preposterous Proportions. Creatures you control get +10/+10 and gain vigilance until end of turn. Now, they don't have trample, but still. We would then go to combat and, well, here's the thing. They all have 10/10, so we wouldn't have to swing everything. That would be foolish. We could just send the 5 1/1s, which are 11/11s, at you. Even if you blocked 2 of them, 33 damage would get through. Now, do we think over there that they could possibly win anyway? Because, is there a reason to do this if we're not going to have a chance? Because they still have a lot of creatures. They're not swinging, and that's the point. Because they're not full swinging, on their upkeep, this would have gotten another counter up to 4. You know what? We're going to do it anyway. We're going to go in response. Boom. Aetherize. So your tokens go back to your hand, which means they just disappear. So that's kind of cool from our perspective here. There's nothing else they can do, but they have a lot of blockers. They're small. And that's the thing. That was our big trump card after Craterhoof. We're now back down to little guys that, even though only 17, this is just commander damage that's no longer relevant, 17 damage, we're not really going to get that through very easily. So we pass back to energy. They untap, go up to 5 counters on the midnight clock, draw a card for turn. Ooh, that's interesting. Sounds like a good idea. I am going to move to combat. I'm going to use 3 energy down to 1 to make a token copy of Nissa. It's a 5/5 with haste. We're going to swing everybody at you. So a 4/4 commander, a 3/3, and a 5/5. On attacks, we do get 2 energy back up to 3. You must know, that player must know something's up. It could be just I'm going out swinging, who cares, which is a viable option. And people do that, myself included. So they might just be like, haha, okay. And they are at 35 still. But I would definitely want to destroy your commander. But do I have anybody that's big enough? That's the thing. I would have to stack block. I will block the 5/5 with this 1/1. Nothing has trample, so it's okay. That'll just die. And then, oh, how silly of me. I'll block your commander with my commander, which is still indestructible. Your commander would die, costs 2 more to play now. And then I think I would just let the 3 through, down to 32. Cool, thanks for that. Main phase 2, tap a red and 2 more to play Blasphemous Act. No, we blow that up and everything over there blows up. Except their commander, which is indestructible. However, now it is no longer a creature. We'll tick this up for when we go over there to 6. But yeah, there's nothing else we can do. Tap 2 and play Blade of Selves, just put it on the battlefield so it's there. And we will tap this and use 3 to make a 3/3 golem. So there, we do have something on the battlefield to block with. We're going to pass turn, untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Play an Evolving Wilds, crack it for a forest, shuffle the deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, costs 2 less. The enchantment March of the World Ooze. Creatures you control have base power and toughness 6/6 and are oozes in addition to their other types. Boy, would that have been grayed out earlier. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if it's not their turn, you make a 3/3 green elephant creature token. I will then tap 3 to play a Bonder's Ornament. 1, 2, 3, 4. Still not a creature, so we're kind of defenseless, actually. Past turn. I don't know. Now energy might pull it off. Although they still have to crank through 32 life, so we're going to untap. This goes up by 1. Draw. First and foremost, of course, we will blue, red, green, one other, and then the tax to replay Saheeli. I have 2 mana up, nothing I can do with it, and no energy, so we're going to pass turn. And we are top decking over here, unfortunately. Untap, upkeep, draw. Boom. Yep, I figured it's a forest. So we will tap 4 and tap Bonder's Ornament to draw a card. Yep, it's a forest. You suck. That really, really is not fun. So we pass turn. Untap, upkeep, draw. So we're going to tap 3 for Cultivate. Search for up to 2 basic land cards, reveal them, put one on the battlefield, one into your hand. So we're getting a mountain on the battlefield tapped, and we will get a forest to our hand, which we will play for turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. This goes, I don't know, I think that goes up. So we'll tap 3 and just put another counter on there because we're getting close. We got some really good cards in hand, but not enough mana to play them. Now we might next turn, but we'll see. Pass turn. So we untap, upkeep, draw. Okay. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. Great card, not helpful right now. Tap 4, tap Bonder's Ornament, draw a card. Okay, finally a Sliver. We're going to tap 1 to play Horned Sliver. All Sliver creatures have trample, and now Nylea is online as a creature. The cool part is now these are both 6/6s with trample because of Maskwood. Now we got some stuff, so we're definitely going to swing both. This does not have haste though, darn it. And if this is only a 6/6, they could stack blocking. Well, it's indestructible, so swinging it, yes. 6 commander coming at you. Block with this, take 3 down to 14. Yeah, pass turn. All right, untap. That would be 10 over there and 11 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's good enough for one of the cool things. So we're going to tap all mana to play Triplicate Titan. So when it enters, we get a energy. Not enough to do the cool thing. But it's a flying, vigilance, trample, 9/9. When it dies, you make a 3/3 with flying, a 3/3 with vigilance, and a 3/3 with trample. Very, very cool. The goal is to get her ability online so that at the beginning of combat, you make a copy of the Triplicate Titan, which is only a 5/5, but then when it dies, it automatically makes the 3/3s, and you still keep the original as a 9/9 for blocking and stuff. And you just keep doing that every combat. You have an army of 3/3s with really cool abilities. But no haste, no nothing. Pass turn. It is going to be trickier to get through, though. So what can you do over here? Untap, upkeep, draw for turn. Another freaking forest. Unreal. So we'll tap 2 and Nykthos to make 3, 4, 5 green, using 4 of it and tapping that to draw a card. Yeah, I guess we're going to have to try that. We have 1 floating, and then green spell, so 1, 2, the third as the floating, and then 1 more because it costs less. Overrun. Creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample until end of turn. So now I have 2 9/9s with trample, and one of them is indestructible. We're swinging both. You're gonna, well, 2 9/9s, that's, if you take both, you lose. I really did want to use the Triplicate Titan's ability, but we're not even necessarily going to get the trigger, so it's fine. We'll block with this, and then we make 3 golems that are 3/3s with each of the things. So, oops, got the cool tokens for them. So a 3/3 with vigilance, a 3/3 with flying, and a 3/3 with trample. And you will take 9. You are down to 5 life. However, we are open past turn, but we've got 32 life. Now, I believe the Midnight Clock technically would have triggered on their upkeep, and we would have done this, but it's fine. We have no open mana, so even if we got cool cards, we couldn't have played them. So you exile the Midnight Clock, and it's important to note that that would have happened on their upkeep, so Triplicate Titan wouldn't have been in the graveyard when this triggered, so we took our hand and our graveyard at the time, shuffled it into our library, draw 7 cards, then the whole combat stuff, and then Triplicate Titan in the graveyard. So I'm going to play a mountain for turn. Man, there's just no way to do this right. I don't have the energy. Normally, this deck cranks out energy, and unfortunately we just weren't getting any of the creatures or any of the artifacts to play that would give us energy. These are all untapped. So I will tap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, to play Lightning Runner. It's a double strike haste 2/2. When this creature attacks, you get 2 energy, and then you may pay 8 energy if you do untap all creatures and gain another combat. So they are wide open, so it would be foolish to not swing. So we full send, because at this point it doesn't matter. So that's 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17 total damage. They are down to 15 damage. Vigilance, Trample, Flying, no lifelink. However, when this attacks, we get 2 energy, up to 3, and then when a creature attacks, we would have gotten another 2 up to 5. We'll do it just because, but it's not going to save us. We will tap. Oh, can I do it? Hang on. I can pay 1 life and add. Yeah, I guess we can do that, just because. So we'll take a damage down to 4 life. 5 mana to play Confiscation Coup. Choose target artifact or creature. We're going to choose your commander, and we're going to gain 4 energy up to 9. You get, and then you may pay an amount of energy equal to that permanent's mana value if you do gain control of it. So we'll pay 4 back down to 5 to gain control of it. Doesn't untap or anything, and that's that. We pass turn. If it had untapped, we might have had a chance, but now we untap over here. It really doesn't matter what happens because we have a 6/6 with trample, and you have no blockers. So we draw for turn. We play a forest. We tap. No, we don't do that. We tap 1, 2, 3, 4. Tap the Bonder's Ornament to draw a card. That's not super helpful, but we tap 3 for a Commander Sphere. Tap another 3 for a Beastmaster's Ascension, and we swing and win. Ba-boom! There you go. Mono Green Slivers pulls out the win. I'm very surprised by that. And, I mean, the deck is fun and decent, but compared to these 3, especially these 2, Energy and Baitor have proven to be really decent, really almost powerful, I think, and hold up against other players. I have yet to play the Flyers deck against other people. I hope to do that soon and see how that goes. But the testing of it has still done well. Plus, it's Flyers, and there aren't many flying slivers and stuff like that. So they had the advantage. So there you go. I hope you saw some cool cards. I hope you enjoyed the game. Come back for the next 2 matches. I always do best of 3 to see what the decks do, how they perform, if there's needed flaw, or if there's any flaws that are glaring, like, oh, I need more card draw, or oh, I need more interaction, which I always do because I tend to cut interaction, and just to see how the decks perform on a consistent basis. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I will see you next time.